Hello, Orville Nation, and wow, today is a very, very, very special day indeed. Of course, it's an anniversary for two of our panelists, and and it's also the day the Orville premieres. So here we go, guys. And yes, hello everybody. Yes, Medallion. Of course, it's a season finale, pre-celebration, not a series.
Correct.
Thank you for pointing that out. Good to see you, my friend Adega. How are you?
Not bad. Before anything else, there was a name I saw in chat that I haven't seen in a long time. Been worried about. Joe Lau. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, and by the way, Joe Lau showed up. I think it was last stream or 2 streams ago, and I said the same thing to him. Yeah, a lot of us were worried about Joe throughout COVID, and we are so happy to see you, Joe. So it's glad to see you back. Dega has that memory too, and a lot of other people were asking about you during COVID, Joe. So yeah, that is
glad you let me have that little hiccup there, because it's nice to see kind, friendly people return.
Yeah, absolutely. And COVID's, I gotta say, we lost a couple of people during COVID, and not necessarily due to COVID, but we lost stuff.
Certain world situations also made me really nervous.
Yeah, of course. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat, and hello to Professor Brainy Specs. Hello, Professor. How are you? Hello, John DeMarco. John DeMarco is everywhere. He's in the chat. He's backstage. He's everywhere. Chuck Marvel as well. He's everywhere as well. You guys are everywhere. Hello, Frenchie's Fiber Files. Good to see you. This young lady is everywhere too. Guys, we have the full spectrum of in our female panelists, we have the full spectrum of color variation. So we have redheads, we have blondes, we have brunettes, we have everybody. And by the way, they are a brilliant bunch of young ladies, and we are going to introduce them right now. I want more Orville. Yes, Professor. Hello, Dr. Omega. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hello again, Medallion. Medallion was setting us straight from the start. It's the season finale. Yeah, hello, douchebag. Kylo, good to see you. And just let me just go scroll back. Mr. Lindell, he's gonna be popping in here later, I think. And good to everyone. Good to see everyone. John Sapola, Potato Revan is everywhere as well. And good to see everyone who is in here. Dr. Alex is in here early. Thank you guys. Thank you all for joining us. Hello, Jonathan Myers. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you too. Nice picture there in your profile. All right, guys. Before we get started, I'm just going to put up. We're going to spend the very beginning here, kind of just in a tribute to Nichelle, and I want this to be about. I want this to be want this to be about you guys. I want to read what the chat has to say about Nichelle Nichols, your favorite stories. Maybe you met her. Maybe you want to repeat something about her life. And Adega and I are going to sit here and read this for a few minutes, and then we'll bring in the panelists. Of course, she was a shining beacon of inspiration to so many people, to men, women of all races. She was there for all of us. So, guys, let us know. Let us know what your stories are about Nichelle. And while I get you guys, give a couple of minutes so you can think about comments about Nichelle. I am going to go ahead and bring in my other co-host. Oh, she's not ready yet. Okay. Ta-da! So let's bring in two of my favorite people in the world, and here we are from the Windy City itself. I want to say hello to Netter, and guys, I cannot believe we actually booked her. Hello,
Right.
Netter. Good to see you. You're muted.
And she's muted.
You're muted. You got to unmute yourself.
The microphone is not. There we go.
Yeah, it's like I'm actually sharing Troy's mic, so you couldn't hear me until I unmuted me. But when he comes on, I'll have to mute myself again. Otherwise, you'll have an echo.
Oh, okay.
So, hi, sweetie. How you doing?
Good to see you. Good to have you. It's such an honor. I can't believe we finally booked you. It's only been like 3 years.
Well, the honor is all mine, sir.
Well, that's great, and not too far. The honor is ours, really.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, and I want to introduce somebody who is probably not sitting too far away from you, and he is wearing his one of his token headwear pieces, which I love. Welcome, Troy Pacelli.
Got to keep the Chrome Dome warm, you know. But salud, Salancha, and cheers. How you doing?
Cheers. Good to see you guys.
Howdy.
And we have to say happy anniversary to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
30 years, yes.
And the only reason I'm saying is because you guys published it online. So
Yep.
Otherwise,
Yeah, we're kind of proud of the milestone. Yeah.
Yeah, join the 30 club with a few of us. That's a big accomplishment. She hasn't murdered me yet, so you guys are doing good too.
There you go.
It's like, hey, that means you hang on to her, you know? You last this long, that's a good one.
Look, 30 years ago today, I told her, you know, we're saying till death do us part. I take that seriously. That means if you want out, one of us got to die.
That was very Clyden of you, Troy.
Sure. Actually, it's very Klingon of me, but okay, yeah, that too.
That's right. That is very Klingon. All right, guys. We're waiting here for I'm waiting here for someone to pop in. Let me just read the first comments about Nichelle. Let's see. Nichelle was one in Dave's Dimension. Welcome, Dave's Dimension. Nichelle was one in a million. She changed the world in so many ways. Yeah, didn't she? She did so much in a very simple, what apparently was a very simple way, just as an actress, right? But she really, when she was put into that very special role, she did so much. Dr. Omega, I went to many TrekCons where Nichelle was a guest and heard her speak many times, says Dr. Omega. Wow. Do you guys have any on anybody on the panel before we continue bringing in guests? Anybody want to say anything about Nichelle?
You missed two above. SETI had one and DK had one, but for me, you know, everyone talks about her being the first this and that, and growing up with my parents watching the show, I didn't have that in our house. It was just accepted. She is a brilliant person on comms, had some grace and elegance, and Kirk didn't have a problem kissing her, even though it was by force. You know, it was just. And then there's a reason why I brought up the ones beforehand. You had Seti Fox, who said, I love that she kept so active in the sci-fi world right into the end, loved her in Renegades, and she never stopped being as much of a contributor as a fan. And I thought that was marvelous.
I read some stories about how she influenced so many little girls that they can be anything they wanted to be. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yep.
DBK, for you guys, forgive me today, by the way, if anybody, forgive me, anybody who, I'm a little overwhelmed with how many people we're going to be juggling tonight. So, yeah, there you go, DBK. Let me read your comment. You said it was above? Oh, I saw her up close at a huge, at a huge con many years ago, but the story doesn't relate well in chat. So we'll let you say it when you come on, DBK. Okay. I need to bring in one of our other panelists. Atomic Blonde. Welcome, Atomic Blonde, from across the pond. Good to have you here again.
Late night.
Hi. Yeah, it's 3 a.m. here, so there's so much I love the Orville, and thank you so much, PJ, for inviting me back. And yeah, just talking about Nichelle, I like a lot of people, I tweeted out just saying, the amount of doors that she opened, and I think she's a role model for women, especially obviously women of color, but for all women. She's so much sort of respect and grace, and a lady. She sort of had this class about her all through her life. So yes, it's a massive loss to lose someone like Nichelle, but her legacy, I hope, will live on way past when I'm gone. So she done so much for women and women of color. So, and like I say, the work she done with NASA is phenomenal. And like I say, growing up, you do look at her and go, oh, I could be, as a woman, I could be anything I want to be. Like, there's this woman who's, holding her own with Kirk and then all the, all those kind of people. Yeah, she's just a phenomenal lady, and just so much elegance and grace. It's a sad loss, but like I say, her legacy will live on, hopefully.
Absolutely. And John DeMarco's Troy, I think your keyboard, maybe, is it you?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I am typing in chat.
For some reason it's like louder than other times. I don't know why. Sorry.
Can you move to your lap?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Welcome, Mary, and your raid. You got a big guest who showed up in the chat.
Oh, hello, Mary Mayhem. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, Mary. Mary, and I'm going to go on to John's comment now. Mary was the first person who ever had me on her channel. So good to see you, my friend. It's been
so we have her to blame, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we have Mary.
It's all her fault.
We
She's
have
to
Mary
blame for a lot of stuff.
Good to see you, my friend. Yeah. Nichelle helped recruit astronauts for NASA, including Mae Jemison, who went on to be the first person who's been in space to appear on Star Trek, says John DeMarco. And speaking of John DeMarco, we have a John DeMarco in the back. Let's welcome the man himself who wrote that comment. No other than John DeMarco himself. Good to see you, John.
Yeah. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hi,
John.
Anything you want to add to that, John, about Nichelle?
That pretty much covers it. Just I'm impressed by all the work she did, not only on the screen but in real life as well.
Absolutely. Let's finish bringing in our guests. Also from across the pond, there he is, Mr. Potato Man himself, Potato Revan. Good to see you,
Hello.
Potato.
How are you?
Hello.
Just a bit of a heads up. I'll still be here, but I'll be viewing them on the tail end of COVID because it's so fun.
You have a review coming up tomorrow,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I
Tomorrow.
do. Tomorrow no, tomorrow's Thursday. It's going to be 1 a.m. in the morning, Saturday. It's going to be 5 p.m. Friday PST, 7 p.m. Central, I believe, and 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about the last episode of this season
Okay.
of the Orville. And Peter, I hope to have you on if you've got time.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later. And let's see who was backstage that we're missing. And we are missing our friend, of course, Chuck Marble. Good to see you, Chuck.
Hey, good evening.
Good.
Hello.
Hi.
Your mic sounds great.
Fantastic. Glad to hear it. Really nice to be here with such an esteemed panel.
Yeah, we're going to start talking about very shortly, talking about the Orville. Just want to get through a few more of these comments about Nichelle. And I was surprised that she helped recruit many astronauts to NASA, including two of the Challenger astronauts. She took that.
If time permits, I'd like to speak a little to that.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. For 10 years, I was privileged to be an appointed public relations ambassador for NASA. And I can tell you, she left such a mark in that agency. They loved her. After the cancellation of Star Trek, Nichols volunteered her time in a special project with NASA to recruit minority and female personnel for the space agency. She began this work by making an affiliation between NASA and a company that she helped run, Women in Motion. The program was a huge success. Among those recruited were Dr. Sally Ride, the first American female astronaut, United States Air Force Colonel Guyan Bluford, the first African-American astronaut, as well as Dr. Judy Resnick and Dr. Ronald McNair, who both flew successful missions during the Space Shuttle program. Recruits also included Charles Bolden, the former NASA administrator and veteran of 4 shuttle missions, Frederick Gregory, former deputy administrator and a veteran of 3 shuttle missions, and Lori Garver, former deputy administrator. She was an enthusiastic advocate of space exploration. She served from the mid-'80s on the board of governors of the National Space Institute. And in late 2015, she got to fly aboard SOFIA, NASA's Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy, which analyzed the atmospheres of Mars and Saturn on an 8-hour high-altitude mission. She was also a special guest at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena on July 17, 1976, that historic date when Viking 1 successfully soft-landed on Mars. Along with the other cast members from the original Star Trek series, she attended the christening of the first space shuttle, Enterprise, at North American Rockwell's assembly facility in Palmdale, California. And on July 14, 2010, she toured the Space Shuttle simulator at Mission Control in the Johnson Space Flight Center. Her work with NASA has given a lot of focus in a documentary called Women in Motion, which was about her life. She was extraordinary. NASA loved her, and she played an extremely important part of bringing people into NASA and inspiring young women and young people all over the world to get involved in space science.
Excellent. Wow. I could not have said it better myself, Chuck. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was perfect. That was perfect, Chuck. Thank you so much, my friend. Jessica says, hi, sorry I'm late. My thoughts, Nichelle Nichols was one of the few women I had to look up to on television. She was every bit of a class, grace, and sex appeal. Her voice would melt any heart. Absolutely. Trek legend, civil rights advocate, dancer, NASA employee, and jazz singer, says Dr. Lundell. Guys, I think everything we can say about Nichelle is little. Rest in peace, Nichelle. Say, hey, JRC, I saw your post, JRC. Awesome post. Her story on how MLK kept her in Star Trek. It's still, in my honest opinion, the top inspirational story from Star Trek actors and actresses. Wasn't that just marvelous about the story with Martin Luther King? Yeah.
Mhm.
And guys, I want to welcome Corion. Thank you, Corion, for that super chat, my friend. Hello, all. Witch Raid backing the Mayhem Raid. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the Mayhem Raid and the Witch Raid. Thank you, guys, everybody. Episode 10 airs in 2 hours. Hello to Papa Delta.
In 5
MA.
hours over here.
Oh, I'm sorry. How many hours over there?
5.
Yeah. It's normally on about 8:30 in the morning, UK
No, 8
time.
8 o'clock on the dot. If you refresh
It's 8 o'clock, yeah.
on the dot, it'll immediately be there.
Yeah. And it's around 8:30, somewhere like that, yeah. So
Yeah.
we've not got long to go here.
All right, guys. So I want to ask the panel before we move on to the Orville, and let me just say hello again to Papa Delta, Pollo Zapatos, MA, Mando, Elihu. Good to see you, Mando. I responded to you, my friend. Thank you again for the super chat, Corion, and thank you again, Mary, for popping in, and the JRC. Anybody else that I miss? Okay. Anybody else on the panel want to say anything else about Nichelle before we move on?
I don't know if I should. I've got a story about her, but it's kind of sad.
Well, if you feel it's like it's okay if you want to share it.
In 2014, I was at Dublin Comic Con,
Okay.
some other convention, and she was there. And there was a huge line just to meet Nichelle. But I was standing in the line. My friends were in the line as well. The line was like the longest line in the convention hall. But all of a sudden, the entire line got closed down. And she got wheeled out of there. Turned out that she started forgetting people's names while she was signing it, and she fell asleep signing it. Later on, we found out that she was in early stages of dementia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She was working up till the very end. She was even acting in certain roles. And she was very, very active, which was probably good for her. It was probably good for her to be active. And it's good that fans were the best thing for somebody in that position. Yeah, speaking from a clinical psychologist point of view, is to be active. And I know that a lot of fans were very understanding, and she was so loved that she could. The fans were just very supportive about her keeping active, even though she wasn't 100%. So, thank you again.
Speaking of which, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. We're going to wrap up. Go ahead, Chuck.
Speaking of which, she was in 12 to Midnight in 2021. You were talking about how she worked right up to the end. And there are 3 projects that are in post-production now that Nichelle Nichols was a part of. So, yeah, she was very active.
Exactly. Yeah. There's still some stuff that that she is going to be seen in, right?
Yeah. That would be Renegades, The Order, and Moment of Impact.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Chuck.
I'm your trivia expert.
All right, guys. Any other last words on Nichelle before we move on? Okay. I just want to say, guys, that life is precious. We need to be aware that eventually, some of our family members will move on, and eventually, of course, all of us will move on too. So it's important to say I love you and to work on our relationships with our family members. So that being said, it's Orville time.
Yay!
By the way, Maria, since I don't know if you can hear me or not, I'm trying to text you. Maria, what I'm going to do is I am going to ask you to come in later because Katie is trying to come in. And I'm going to remove you, Maria, from the stream. And I want you to text me on the phone. I'll text you to let you know when you can come back in. Because I know you're not ready. So I'm kicking you from the studio, Maria. Oh, I've been wanting to do that for a while.
You take too much pleasure in that.
Kicking her from the studio, but never from our hearts.
Exactly. All right. Let's talk some episode 9. Ladies first, Netter. What was some of your favorite parts about episode 9?
Okay, I'm presuming that's.
Or what was your favorite moment about Domino? About episode 9, Domino? Our little Star Wars-ish Orville episode.
That's true.
With all the action and Ted Danson betraying the Union, or did he betray? He thought he was doing the right thing.
He thought he was doing the right thing, but sometimes when you think you're doing the right thing, you're actually doing more harm than good. So it's like, I see where he was trying to go with it, but I think he did it the wrong way, you know? But I also think it's a shame that Charlie's no longer to be on the show, because her thinking fourth dimensionally was such an asset to the Orville, being able to just pull things out of air pretty much to be able to figure out problems. It's like now they don't have that. I mean, they do still have other personnel that are really, really valuable to the Orville, but it's like she has such a unique skill set. It's like, oh man, they're not going to have that anymore. But I did like when she just kind of looked up and all you saw were like her eyes, and she's like, I'm here. And then the ship just, you know,
Man.
or the building rather just blew up. It was like, that was cool. But yeah, it was really interesting. There are a lot of, like you said, Star Wars references, and Troy and I were even talking about that going, okay, yeah, they're doing the run down those
Trench
tight little
run.
places, the trenches, yeah. And it's like, okay, up, down, around, spin around, come back, drop behind them, all those. So I did kind of like those Star Wars references. Of course, Troy's a bigger Star Wars geek than I am, but but yeah, it's like, I recognize that. I see what they're doing there.
I caught that reference.
Awesome. And thank you. Let me say hello to Trey from Max World Entertainment. Good to see you, Trey. And John. Good to see you, John. John says Mark Zickery shot NICHELLE for a future episode of Space Command. Wow, that's fantastic. I suspected that. I wasn't sure of it. And of course, we're going to have Mark at some point to catch up with Mark at some point. We'll see when. Thank you, John, for pointing that out. And guys, we have one of our community favorites backstage, and here she is, her bright and bushy-tailed self. Welcome to Katie. Hello, meteorologist Katie.
Hey,
everyone.
Katie.
Hello.
Blue sky is shining at me.
Hi.
How's it going?
How are you able to be with us this late?
I'm not. My schedule's completely screwy, so I'm only here for a few minutes, but I wanted to say hi to everyone because I miss you all.
Cheers.
We miss you too, Katie.
Absolutely.
That was phenomenal. Can we play
Yeah.
it, Katie, while you're
Go
here?
for it.
Yeah,
Yes.
congratulations,
Absolutely
Katie.
brilliant. Yeah.
What's the Orville weather?
I couldn't get over it. Well, it depends on the planet.
Yeah.
Dalakoff, between Dalakoff and the Industrial District on Moklis were two of my favorites to compile. I look like a maniac. I have all these sheets that I use. I went through the wikis. I went through everything to try to find what is canonical. And just to have Tom be like, oh, yeah, no, this is canon now. I'm like,
The Geloja reference was awesome.
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, and how
but
you
you know
snuck
what?
in the title, Gently Falling Rain in the Krill Forecast. It was extremely well scripted, Katie.
I cannot watch television without noticing everything that's weather related. It's a curse and a blessing. But what's crazy is I didn't actually write out a script or anything. I was like, all right, here's what the temperature would be. Here's a couple of little tidbits I want to touch on. Let's just go for it. I have about 10 minutes of bloopers I'm thinking I'll probably post. I mean, looking at the camera.
Yes.
No, it's daytime. No, it's nighttime. What are you doing?
I like to think about the
My
two-dimensional
coworkers think
plane.
I'm insane.
You're like,
Are they wrong?
You're like money. You're awesome for that television station, though.
Oh my gosh, I hope so. We've been getting a lot of people. I stream on TikTok sometimes. I should stream on YouTube, but they crash our website, the station website, trying to watch the morning show, which I think is pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So Katie, are we okay playing this?
Oh, absolutely, go for it.
Alrighty, guys, I'm going to ask everybody to mute yourselves, and we're
Was that
gonna
the extended version or the original?
I wanted to ask you, which one should I play?
Well, everyone here likes the Orville, so we can play the extended one. The shorter one I put up just for anyone who was like, oh yeah, that's a goofy forecast. That's kind of nerdy. This one has a couple of little Easter eggs.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Great. That was great that you did that.
Thanks.
All right. What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to play it once, and we're going to get some reactions. We're going to play it one more time because it's fun. That's why, because it's fun. All right. Here we go, guys. Hold on. I got to play it through the speakers. And here we go. A brand new fandom forecast from Katie Nicolau.
Good morning, crew. I'm meteorologist Katie Nicolau, and I wanted to thank you for taking the time out of your day to transport me to the Epsilon Science Station. You are saving me a whole lot of hassle, so I thought I would give you guys a bit of a thank you in the form of a forecast. Pulled some of the crew, pulled the forecast for those areas, and thought I'd start your day with them. Looking at 27 degrees over in Union Central right now, partly cloudy skies, although if you are planning on heading out for the morning commute, we are seeing some pretty dense air traffic out there. Turbulent air, in fact, over towards Krill. Lots of storm activity falling, but right now over towards Delacoste, just some gently falling rain and some cold rain at that. Those temperatures only 5 Celsius, just a little bit above freezing. Here's the thing, though. The sun could come out tomorrow, and that's not good news on Krill. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep some of that cloud cover in place. Looking at Zalea, just a beautiful scene out there. Hardly anyone out on the beaches since it's the off season. Temperatures are a little cool for swimming, but still very pleasant with the sunshine and just a few high up clouds. Now, one place that might not be very pleasant is over towards Mauclis, the industrial district, covered in that thick smog, visibility problems, as well as air quality alerts. There's actually no end date to the air quality alerts. They're just kind of there perpetually because we have calm winds. There's nothing really to move that smog around. So really an unpleasant and honestly unsafe afternoon on Mauclis, unless you head up towards the mountains. Thanks to Platinum for sending this picture in. You can see that it's nice once you get into the higher elevations. Just know there is no rain in the forecast. So if you feel precipitation, don't look up, just move upwind. You should be fine because that is not rain. Now, looking at two-dimensional space, I will be honest, I don't have any clue what's happening with the weather there, if they even have weather in two-dimensional space, but as long as you're inside the ship, it should be all right. Now, one more thing about the ship, I will be holding a storm chase on the environmental simulator later on before we get to the science station. Everyone is welcome to join. Hopefully you enjoyed this forecast and have a great day.
Oh gosh, that is brilliant.
Thank you.
That's so fun.
good,
That's
Katie.
hilarious.
So good.
They're so
That's
nice.
great.
Thank you.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
Really
was-
quick. Oh, go ahead, Katie. Go.
So
Go.
much. Oh, it was just so much fun.
Wow. How many takes did you do?
Well, full takes I did 3, and they're all complete. This was just the best one in my opinion. There's just 2 living on my hard drive that were a little bit wonky. And then I have about 10 half takes where I just screwed up the intro. It's like, wait, is it Epsilon Science Station? Gosh, what did they say in the first episode?
Guys, anybody want to jump in? What's your favorite parts? What's your favorite parts of our broadcast?
All of it.
Yeah. Right?
But I think the part that I thought was just really funny because I wasn't expecting was, I don't know what's going on in 2D space. It's just like
Error, yes.
that, and there's no rain in the forecast, so don't look up, just move on.
Keep up with me.
That's not rain. That reminds me of those aren't pillows in planes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Katie, I got to say, I know that you are a cosplayer, so I know that we think alike on these kinds of things. That dress was perfect. I could totally see that, if you were like a guest on the Orville. you know?
Oh, completely. I'm glad you picked up on that too, because I had tried so hard to find an affordable cosplay, and everything was caught up in supply chain, and I was just like, gosh dang it, all right, which one looks like it could fit? And
It did.
that dress is way more green in real life. The green screen kind of screws with it, so it's more like what you see with Doc Finn's outfit, but it's still like the cut and everything I thought just kind of worked.
Yep.
And
I
Katie,
love
did
that
you look in
dress.
Ruby's on Amazon?
I have, yes. It said there was like a delay of like a month when I went to it. It might be restocked now.
Anyone
I
who
love
gets
that dress. It's gorgeous.
anyone who gets the rubies, I'd be curious to see how it turns out, because what you see online and what you get isn't always the same thing.
I saw one of them at Comic-Con. It looks very well.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, no, what's great is that dress was $29 at JCPenney. So if anyone wants it,
Wow.
like I said, I'm poor. I go for the cheap stuff.
That's not rain, that's Janola. Loja.
It was just crazy, that part, because no one else at my station watches the Orville, so they're like, what is it if it isn't rain? I'm like,
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
There's a guy standing on an edge there.
Once a year.
Think it through.
they all can see the screen too when I'm recording, because it's in our studio, and so they're just looking at me like, the frick are you doing?
They're like, Katie, you've got too much time on your
Yes,
hands.
frugal.
Hey, if you ever wanted a moonlighting job at night, you'd make a great comedian. That was really well written.
I don't know whose comment it was. They were in the chat. They said it was perfectly silly. And that's what I aim for. Something you can have fun with without being like too stressed out, but also following the canon, making it very scientific.
You know, and Katie, you pointed out that you tend to think of the weather elements. It's an element that is not in the forefront of people's thoughts, but it is such a part of reality. So when we hear it, we're like, oh my gosh, that makes perfect sense. And the verisimilitude that you bring to it, it's like, this is perfect.
And what about
Brilliant.
the environmental extremes, like with all the different planets and like all the
Has
waves?
Exactly.
anyone not noticed the paradox of environments on one planet?
It's incredible. Yeah, you guys, and what's crazy is I was talking with the VFX supervisor today from the Orville, because apparently everyone has seen this video, and I'm just like,
That's
I'll
awesome.
work for free, just let me in the background. But they apparently on Krill, if you pay close attention, they don't have trees. They only have moss forests because they don't have the sunlight to sustain it. So they actually, that's one of the things why I love this show so much, is they do know the science. And the 5 degrees Celsius, Isaac mentioned it, and it's been listed in the show. And it's because they don't get sunlight. So there's all these little tidbits that I'm just latching onto that everyone's like, oh, it's a throwaway line. I'm like, 5 Celsius. So
yeah, but
no sonar in space with these guys, huh? They know the
for me,
science.
the biggest one is the Kalon home planet. They're a completely machine race, and there's not one. It does not look like pollution anywhere compared to like the Mocklins and that. It looks like a pristine world, and they're like 100% machines.
Pull on nuclear.
Yeah.
Yep.
Katie, I have to ask you, because like you and I have talked about this a lot of times. So I know this is in the back of your head. So you picked the perfect moment to do it.
Yeah.
What made you do it now?
Well, I had a free week. We didn't really have too much severe weather, which haven't been able to say that in a while. And I'd finally just been like, I haven't posted anything in forever, and I miss it. I miss being me instead of just being at work all the time and then sleeping the rest of it. So I figured if I'm going to do it, I got to do it now, because the finale's coming up. Just make it happen. And I think that's the best way to get through, and not necessarily an artist's block, but just like a funk, is time. It's just like in college. You run out of it and you do it fast.
You know what you should do, just for a laugh? Take off the Hiroshima meme, where you're just going through average temperatures, but when it's like on the days they're battled, it's like 25 degrees, 30 degrees, 4,000 degrees Kelvin. And then
Yeah.
you just go on the next day.
Big spike there on Alderaan. Not entirely sure what that was.
Yeah.
Guys, were you able to tornado chase in the spring? By the way, we still need to get you that armored personnel carrier for your tornado chasing.
Yes, we
need
do.
to GoFundMe for that.
I-
Were you
we
able to
haven't
storm
had-
chase?
We haven't had many tornadoes in our area, actually. We've been in a bit of a drought since I moved out here, which everyone is happy for except for myself. So, we had one tornado a couple miles south of town, but otherwise I've just been chasing shelf clouds, which still look pretty cool.
All right. Do you guys want to watch that one more time? And then we move on?
Yeah.
Let's watch it one
Absolutely.
more time.
You guys are
Is that
too
okay,
kind.
Katie?
Please.
We love it.
I might
We
have
love
to
it.
scoot out. I gotta get back to work at 2 a.m., so I'm gonna get like 4 hours of sleep and be happy with it.
Are you
Well, you
leaving
have to
right
wake
now?
up to the Orville.
Are you leaving right now?
That is true. I will be off of social media until I see that episode.
Wise idea.
Are you stepping out right now? You said?
Oh no, I'll watch.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm a narcissist, of course.
Okay.
There you go.
And she's honest. I love that.
All right. And this year, it's not going to be nominated. It's going to be award-winning Emmy.
Fingers
Emmy award.
crossed.
Let's go for that.
Yeah.
Let's
It better
go.
be.
All
Gotta
here we
be.
go.
So amazing. We will have a celebration if I do.
Watch you get it
From
from
your
one of
mouth to
these
Avis's
videos.
ears.
Yes.
Well, they do. They have a new Emmy category for social media presence, and I'm just like, hello.
Yep.
That's all you. That's all you.
You should win it. I follow you on TikTok. You're hilarious.
Yep.
Thank you.
Here we go. Whoops.
Yeah, no, sir.
Thank you for taking the time. Good morning, crew. I'm meteorologist.
Uh-oh.
Boomer.
Oopsie.
Let's see. What? That's the wrong one.
Learn to be professional, PJ.
No, way to be professional. Here we go. Okay, everybody mute yourselves if you can.
Good morning, crew. I'm meteorologist Katie Nicolau, and I wanted to thank you for taking the time out of your day to transport me to the Epsilon Science Station. You are saving me a whole lot of hassle, so I thought I would give you guys a bit of a thank you in the form of a forecast. Pulled some of the crew, pulled the forecast for those areas, and thought I'd start your day with them. Looking at 27 degrees over in Union Central right now, partly cloudy skies, although if you are planning on heading out for the morning commute, we are seeing some pretty dense air traffic out there. Turbulent air, in fact, over towards Krill. Lots of storm activity falling, but right now over towards Delacoste, just some gently falling rain and some cold rain at that. Those temperatures only 5 Celsius, just a little bit above freezing. Here's the thing, though, the sun could come out tomorrow, and that's not good news on Krill. Hopefully we'll be able to keep some of that cloud cover in place. Looking at Zalea, just a beautiful scene out there. Hardly anyone out on the beaches since it's the off season. Temperatures are a little cool for swimming, but still very pleasant with the sunshine and just a few high up clouds. Now, one place that might not be very pleasant is over towards Mauclis, the industrial district, covered in that thick smog, visibility problems, as well as air quality alerts. There's actually no end date to the air quality alerts. They're just kind of there perpetually because we have calm winds. There's nothing really to move that smog around. So really an unpleasant and honestly unsafe afternoon on Mauclis, unless you head up towards the mountains. Thanks to Clyden for sending this picture in. You can see that it's nice once you get into the higher elevations. Just know there is no rain in the forecast. So if you feel precipitation, don't look up, just move upwind. You should be fine because that is not rain. Now, looking at two-dimensional space, I will be honest, I don't have any clue what's happening with the weather there, if they even have weather in two-dimensional space, but as long as you're inside the ship, it should be all right. Now, one more thing about the ship, I will be holding a storm chase on the environmental simulator later on before we get to the science station. Everyone is welcome to join. Hopefully you enjoyed this forecast and have a great day.
Now, Katie, did you say Clyden sent you that picture?
Yes, so that's one of my favorite Easter eggs that no one's really caught on to yet or hasn't said so. But actually at my station, we do view our photos, and I always start my morning forecast with thanks to insert name here for sending in this picture. And just kind of as a running joke between me and my parents, I was like, I'm gonna put Clyden as the person who sent this one in because there's no plain like image of the mountains. I asked Tom if he had any background shots, and he sent me all the shots you see in this was actually from the Orville, which I was like, yes. But
Wow.
yeah, I was like, well, there's no way to edit Borders out, so I'm just gonna say Clyden sent this in.
No, Katie, I said that your transitions are smooth and brilliant, but that's exactly why I didn't even think twice when I saw the picture. I'm like, because that's a shot from the show, of course that had to have been like the equivalent of a photograph that someone had sent you. It seemed so natural. I was like, I never even thought twice about it.
That's what I'm going for. Oh, I love it.
You
Oh,
hit it
wow.
out of
Give
the
me the names
ballpark,
of Emmy
Katie.
judges, and you'll pay them a visit.
I want to welcome Maria, and I want to say to everybody, guys, that yes, Katie has a channel, and she has a whole bunch of these from different
Yep.
fandoms, and this is it. Katie's so many random.
Star
fandoms.
Wars one is great.
Thank you.
Star Trek
I'm
one's really
gonna.
fun too.
I think
Yep.
I'm doing a Harry Potter one coming up. I have Cartoon Network. Just a lot of different ones in the works. It's just a matter of obtaining all the intel.
The Avatar universe one will do your head in, given
Yeah.
the elemental bending. It's
Oh
like,
my
I'm
gosh,
suddenly
it'd be
lightning bending.
amazing. Oh, Northern Water Tribe. Here you go.
It is
Yes.
good to see you, Katie. And I was like, good to see you. And I was thinking, all she needs is the bridge cat, holding the bridge cat, because you're always holding a pet.
Yes,
So
I do have Doppler. She paid a visit here. Now I don't know where she is, but that's
Are you
important.
bonding?
Yeah.
Hey, Katie,
Oh,
just a
okay.
quick note before you have to run. I know a lot of people want to say things to you, but it's nice to have you on again at the same time. It's been too long. We
It's
did a
been a
great
long
show,
time.
and I miss the time that we had with PJ in the group. So I'm glad you're doing well, and that was hilarious.
Amen.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yes, I've missed you guys so much, and I'm really hoping that I'll be able to join more often. My schedule might be changing up a little bit in the future, so fingers
Katie,
crossed.
we're doing, just so you know, we're doing a replay of Dark Matter Monday, so you're going to be on every Monday with us.
Yeah.
Yay! I don't even have to try. Oh, I love it. Well, you guys, seriously, thank you so much. I really do need to go. I run off of sugar because I can't have caffeine, so I'll be buzzing off my tits later in the morning. But in the meantime, I hope you'll have. Yeah, it's a Welsh phrase, and I use it every day now. I hope you guys have an amazing night.
Thank you for
Have a
dropping
good
by,
one,
Katie.
Good to see
It
you.
was an honor to have you.
Katie.
Bye.
All right.
Hello, crew.
Hey, Maria.
Hey, Maria.
Maria.
Oh,
Good to see
Hello,
you.
Nice hat.
Maria.
Oh, thank you. I love my hat.
Great to finally share the screen with you, Maria.
Yes,
There you go.
Chuck. It's good to see you. Yes.
Still gonna steal that one hat from you.
All right. I was. Let's get back to. Is it very hot there, Maria?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, I'm melting.
You're melting too, huh? I'm melting
Yes.
too here. All right, guys. We asked Netter what was her favorite part of episode 9 of Domino, and let me put
Yeah, I think
a picture for
Part of
Domino.
that is when Kelly looked at the kale
Yeah.
and said, "We kicked your butt." Remember that? Like, and then she put them in a position twice where they had no choice but to go with what she was talking, or what they were all talking
Yep.
about.
Yep.
It's like, we confer. We have no choice. We have to do what you say. It's like, yep, yes, you do. But she summed it all up when, what's he call it? Is it Kalon Prime?
Primary.
Kalon Prime.
Yeah. When he's like, why did she sacrifice herself? It's like, she died for you, to save you. Like, do you not realize the significance of what she did for you? She didn't want genocide.
Yeah.
Humans aren't like your makers. Your makers were a different type of people. Not everyone's like that. She died despite the fact she hated you. Because she
Yes.
didn't want to see genocide. It's like, wow, that was so
Oh.
powerful.
Oh,
I'm here, Amanda. I love that line.
Yeah. And the fact that she worked with Isaac so well, even though she had some misgivings about him. I mean, she's
professional.
she was showing true hatred towards him, but then she started getting kind of tolerant, I guess. Not necessarily friendly, but she could see that he was different, and she was starting to warm up to him when this episode occurred. But it was like, man, that's like, what
Yep.
she did was such a huge sacrifice, and it's for a race that she hated just because she didn't want to see the genocide. It's like, wow.
Yeah. By the way, you guys notice how our fandom is always talking about food? Doritos. Absolutely.
Not
Let me
much
just.
Doritos.
Speaking about food, her eye reminds me of a pizza.
Ah,
Yeah. Pepperoni, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get pepperoni pizza.
Potato, you said you're going to step out soon?
Yeah, I'll go next, and then I'll step out and let someone else switch in. My favorite part was two parts actually. It wasn't like one specific scene. It was Kalon Prime's whole going from "I'm going to murder all of you" to what's going on, and you could see the gears ticking in his head when he was standing there staring at her while she was going out of her way. And when Isaac stunned or killed the two Mocklins, he was standing there and he was looking at as much to go, wait, all this is for the Kalons. We were trying to kill you an hour ago. Why are you doing this?
Yep.
And all that, and then Charlie's sacrifice absolutely changed his mind. But at the same time, because they're all connected to one network, it wasn't just him changing his mind. It was the entire Kalon species
Good point.
at the same time, collectively changing their mind.
Good point.
I absolutely love that. But yeah, I said that I was going to bounce out because I volunteered to step out after an hour. So I'll just give myself a little push if that's okay, Peter.
Potato, thank you for joining us, my friend.
Yeah.
And write me a DM, okay?
I will. Thank you so much. My link's in the chat and everything. Have a great stream, guys.
Thank you, Potato.
Thank you.
Take care now.
Thanks.
Also, thank you to Katie again for popping me by. Let me move into the top guys. Again, we started with Netter. Let me just get Adega and go down. Adega, one of your favorite parts about episode 9.
Well, I kind of have to bypass because we're hitting it quite a bit. Self-sacrifice has always been an honest one, not an ordered one or a forced one, but an honest self-sacrifice has always been a huge thing I love to see in various different stories. But I know what people are talking about. I'm going to put aside and go for my second thing, which goes really into the sci-fi aspect. None of the technology stuff or the hiccups that some people say here or there. But I did love the ship formation when they tested it out on the Kalon, where the Union ships bundled up to protect the one. I saw something similar like that in Ender's Game when they were competing for who gets the lead shots. But still, I thought it was brilliant. You don't see that in most sci-fi.
It was a great strategy, absolutely.
Yep.
It reminded me of a bloomin' onion.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of did, didn't it?
Go ahead, Adega. Finish what your comment.
Well, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I could talk all day about self-sacrifice, but I had to go with number 2, which would be they had that part of the show, the space combat was done very, very well. I had some hiccups with other parts of it, like we're battling the Death Star, but this one here was unique in a lot of ways, and I appreciated that.
And Medallion points out Charlie's a hero, but she did what she did for her, probably for herself and Amanda, not for the Kalons or to save the galaxy. That's a good point. Mr. Troy, what was your favorite part about Domino episode?
Well, real quick, I want to say hi to Jeff since you just brought him in.
And thank you. Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me, Jeff. Sorry, I was hiding you behind Pollo Zapatos.
Hey, Jeff.
No problem.
A couple people have mentioned the Star Wars references. The less obvious one, I think a lot of people might still have caught, though, was yes, we had the trench run and everything, but what we also had was the musical cues. you know, those send ups to John Williams. Da 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 da. I was like, I caught that. I heard that. You know, and you know, I'm looking. Is Soundtracks with Birdman, you know, going to be streaming about this, because this is just brilliant. You know, but and the other thing about Kalon Prime, I gotta say, we've seen this through 3 seasons with what's his name. I'm drawing a blank because, you know, Brandy. The Kalon officer on the Orville.
Isaac.
Thank you, Isaac. Oh, yeah, of course, Isaac, we see it on a weekly basis, right? We see that this actor has this brilliant sense of portraying, I don't want to say emotion, it's not really emotion, but he as an actor emotes through all of that. You can't see his face, but the mime that he does, right? Kalon Prime was a perfect example of another actor doing that. You would see him look, and that you see, what someone said it, the gears turning, right? Mm-hmm. Throughout the episode, trying to evaluate what is going on here. You know, why? You people know we want to kill you, and yet you're literally dying for your enemy. That was a huge message coming through. Yes, and I agree that yeah, she probably did have a bit of a death wish. I thought that too. I don't think that in any way takes away from what she was doing, seeing it as the right thing, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, she didn't try to do what Isaac did at the beginning of the season, right? She made her life and death mean something. And when you see the Kalons sitting down with the Union at the end of the episode, it's like, wow, that is huge. So absolutely. That's why I'm looking forward to season 4. Cheers to that.
Right on.
What we're getting across is that not all humans were like your makers.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I also like the part where he was saying, well, why didn't you eliminate him? You know, machine logic. And their answer was, it wasn't necessary. Mm-hmm. He really thought about that.
Yeah.
Andrea, go ahead. What is your favorite part of this episode? Domino.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we've all talked about it, but I mean, the visual effects in this episode are absolutely amazing. I mean, you know, also the choreography, the fights, the battles, everything that was happening. You know, the quality of the visual effects, because never at any point do you get taken out the story because you're seeing something that's a bit naff. You know, it was just so good, and like you said, with the music as well, it's just. Everything's thought about with Seth, you know, whether it's the music, the CGI, the characters, the story. So you got all these layers, which I think is why the Orville works so well. And like everybody said, you know, the whole character arc of Isaac and Charlie's relationship. I think that's why none of us, well, I certainly didn't see it coming, because I was like, oh, you think like season 4 and 5, they're going to end up being best friends and they're going to have this really great relationship, and just pulled the rug out from underneath me, like, oh my, you know, that she did that. And I think what people are saying, like, I think it's more she wasn't afraid to die, you know, more than she had a death wish or anything like that. I think she just wasn't afraid to die, because when she does, she will be with Amanda again. So that, I think that's there's a lot of bravery there, because I don't think she wanted to die. I don't think, like say, that was her goal. But when push come to shove, or when she was faced with it, she wasn't afraid.
And like also, she also got to do the same sacrifice that Amanda did too.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, because she's just grown so much as a person, and the writing of her character, I think, has been outstanding. You know, because I think she's gone a little bit from a bit precocious. You know, I think in one of the early episodes, Ed says to her, you know, you don't have a monopoly on grief. You know, it's like, you're not the only one that lost people, which is really like kind of moment. So, you know, I think she's sort of grown emotionally, and then sort of having, you know, listened to the other Kalon I can't remember his name, but the one with the emotions and actually sort of walk in their shoes a little bit. I think, she started to have a bit of empathy. And I think we almost got to the point in the last, before Domino, where there's almost like a little bit of mutual respect between Isaac and Charlie. Like he says, you're actually quite intelligent for a human. And there's just that moment, there's a little bit of like mutual respect that she kind of has a little bit more empathy of where his race came from, and why his people did what they did. To start building that bridge, you really just saw that bridge forming. So to sort of that whole culmination that everybody's talking about, sort of seeing the Kalon learn as it's happening in real time, like you say, sort of the head tilts, like a dog kind of listening and what's going on and really trying to absorb. And also it's like they are children, they were created, they're children. So, when kids go through that phase where everything's why, and that's literally what the Kalons were doing in real time. So I think that whole, you could see it was building. And I very much thought, like a lot of these shows, like, well, they've just brought her in, they're building the character, of course she's going to be here, so somehow she's going to get out. And then she didn't. But the only thing is, like, they made a big point about Primary, saying about consciousness and being able to download your consciousness, and that's why we're better than humans. So I'm a little bit like, is there something there somehow? I don't know. I've probably a big stretch, but they kind of made a point of saying that. So, maybe were they able to do something, or can she come back, or something like that? Because they made a big point about consciousness.
You think she's alive? You think she's alive?
I think she's dead.
Okay.
But maybe did they manage to, I don't know, capture something, or will they try and bring her back in a human form, or somehow captured her consciousness? I doubt it. I mean, it's a massive stretch.
I'm going to ask you guys that later. I'm going to ask you guys later if you guys think she's alive, like, could she come back or not? And let me just say really quick, welcome douchebag Kylo.
Thank you.
Good to have you here, my friend.
DBK.
Hello.
And let me just say, Seth, I personally think Seth will end up doing a Star Wars project at some point. That's why I'm highlighting this.
Really?
I personally think that now he is under the Disney umbrella, that he is an option, a go-to option, who has, by the way, out Star Wars.
Yeah.
He is, and before he was getting a raw deal because he was the Family Guy guy, and I actually think we could see him. We could see surprising things in the future.
I think he signaled that Star Wars is on the horizon. I think that in episode 1 this season, when he included "May the Force be with you" in his address to the crew, it was more than just we're all part of Disney now. I think he was.
Yeah.
I think that
That's a
was
good
foreshadowing for his own career.
I certainly hope so.
That's really interesting. I've not heard the Star Wars angle before.
I think the thing with Seth, though, is that everything he does, I mean, even with Family Guy, when he done the Star Wars trilogy parody, even that still was love behind it. You could just tell he loves this stuff. He's never knocking it or disrespecting it in any way. You could just tell that everything he does comes from a place of like respecting and loving the source material. So, like, we've all saw the references, and you can sort of tip your hat to it because it just shows how much he loves the sci-fi genre. So, I think, if he did step into the Star Wars arena, I think we'd all be like, wow, we might actually get some good Star Wars.
All right, guys. So because we're on a clock, I'm going to go to John. John, what do you think? What was your favorite part about episode 9, and what was your favorite moments about Domino? John DeMarco.
Well, everybody's made some great points so far. Like Charlie's sacrifice was very moving, and to that end, one of my favorite parts of the episode was her funeral at the end, and in particular, Isaac's eulogy for her. I thought it was very amazing how a supposedly emotionless robot could give such an emotional farewell. Like he talked about, for example, how long he knew her down to the second, but despite all that time he worked with her, he still didn't fully understand her. That was a very deep thing for a robot to say. So I just basically appreciated that whole scene at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It reminded me of Kirk's eulogy for Spock in Wrath of Khan. It was really impactful.
Yeah, it was kind of similar, wasn't it? I hadn't thought about that before.
But the amount of times, Isaac's actions and the way he speaks, he's the character that has no emotions, that reduces you to tears with people with emotions. Like the whole way through this season, I probably cried the hardest with anything with like the Isaac stuff. And I think, it speaks volumes to the writing, but also to Mark Jackson. And if that guy doesn't get an Emmy nod, I don't know what it takes.
Oh yeah, definitely, he deserves it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Maria, do you want to give us a quick opinion on your favorite parts of episode 9?
You're afraid I'm going to talk a lot?
No. Was that
I am.
Yeah, me too.
I'll be quick.
Naturally, being a gamer girl, I absolutely love the whole fight scene and stuff, especially with the jetpacks, because I play a game that has them because I love them so much. But I agree, and I'll be really quick with the Isaac part. I think the thing that impacted me most was when he turned around for the last time to see her. He didn't have to say anything, and you can tell what he was saying. He is very expressive without even doing anything. When he was leaving, and he was the last to leave, or one of the last to leave, and just turned around and just looked at her. He's done that, like Atomic Blonde says many times, where when he was being insulted by Charlie, he was just sitting there, but you could almost feel his pain. So he is very good at that. So all of the scenes with him really were impactful for me.
Awesome. Go ahead, Maria. Finish.
No, I was done because but I did like Kelly's line though. I did. That's my favorite line though, I have to say.
Okay. And because I want to get through Chuck, Jeff, and Kylo, because I want to do another round of questions on this one. Chuck, go ahead.
Well, what was my favorite part? How about all of it?
Good
I
answer.
know. Yeah, I know we're pressed for time, but if you had a few minutes, I'd like to speak to the episode as a whole.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In my opinion, Seth and his amazing team of more than 400 creative people have created what I believe will be forever remembered as one of the greatest single episodes in the history of science fiction television. In my opinion, Domino stands alongside the best installments of Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Outer Limits, Twilight Zone. Even the opening strains of the orchestra brilliantly conveyed the riveting story that followed. It's amazing on so many levels. It's literally a masterclass in science fiction storytelling. I was having as much edge of my seat fun as I did decades ago when watching Star Wars Episode 4 as a teenager in the theater on opening week. That's how excited I was over it. Everything about it got my adrenaline pumping. If Seth could figure out how to put that level of brain-engaging excitement in a bottle on convenience store shelves, he'd make yet another fortune. Domino combines so many of the greatest elements of the best science fiction ever presented on the screen, and I mean television or film, from the realistic pacing, interpersonal interactions, and believable slice-of-life moments that I love so much about the Orville, to the moral dilemmas presented, the political intrigue, technology, military strategies, air and space battles, multiple and ongoing twists and turns. It was exhilarating. And wow, in my opinion, that knockdown, drag-out fight scene between two of the ensemble cast's female characters was far more believable than many of the other current attempts to depict strong female characters. In fact, to me, it was reminiscent of some of the best classic male mono-on-mono fight scenes depicted throughout the history of television and films. No weapons, no superpowers, just dogged determination from two characters who passionately believed in their opposing causes.
Are you saying Kirk Khan, Chuck?
I'm saying you name them all. Kirk Khan, Sean Connery in the James Bond films. That was a great fight scene. And I loved how they kept going to another aspect of the story and then coming back, and there they were still at it. They just would not give up. I thought that was just tremendous. And Speaking of the state of modern science fiction, to me, so many sci-fi properties today suffer from a lack of believability, at least to me. Today's mystery box style of storytelling is unfulfilling, where the writers try intentionally to subvert expectations with plot elements that, under scrutiny, range from the unlikely to the absurd. I also find that many science fiction shows today try to engage the viewer's feelings without providing adequate or believable reasons for the emotions they're trying to evoke. Not here. In this episode, in spite of the complexities involved, everything happens for a reason. The reactions to the situations are totally believable, and it all makes sense. And yeah, when they ask, does anyone want to speak here? And Isaac gets up and gives that tremendously moving eulogy. I almost wish they could have given us a few more minutes to see if Mercer asked, does anybody else want to speak? Because I kind of doubt that anybody would want to try and talk after that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let me say, guys, real quick. If you guys picked the 11 o'clock panel because we had Katie jump in as a special guest, we are gonna come in at 11:15. We're running 15 minutes late, so come in at 11:15, guys. I'm gonna move on to Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff. What was your favorite parts?
How can I follow Chuck? how can anyone follow Isaac? How can I follow Chuck after that? My favorite part was, you had this Charlie character that they introduced in the first episode, and she was unlikable. She was somebody that you didn't want to like because, she hated Isaac and she didn't want anything to do with him. And even after she saved him in that first episode, you still didn't like her because of her attitude. You kind of, some people can understand why she acted the way she did. I did. I got it, but I still didn't care for her much. By the end of episode 9, Domino, I cared for her. Her sacrifice was so touching, so wonderful, that she saved the Kalon, that she did that for them. And I had tears. I've watched the episode twice, and it hit me more the second time than the first. The way that they could write her character, her story arc, to make you feel that you cared for her after not being able to care for her from the get-go. That is what got me. That's what I loved the most about the episode. The episode in itself was just fantastic. Great effects, great music, great story, great acting, great directing. It was just a masterpiece. One of the best ever in sci-fi history. But the Charlie angle is what got me.
Jeff, really quick, what do you think about Medallion's comment? I felt Gordon should have had a word at her funeral.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't show it. But like Chuck said, how can you follow Isaac?
No. Great. Douchebag Kylo. Thanks, Jeff. Douchebag Kylo. Your favorite parts about Domino episode 9?
Well, I didn't get to finish my I've lost count rewatch today as I had intended, but seen it a few times now. The absolute favorite part, I'm sorry, it's the duet in the cabin. I'm a musician. I'm a singer, songwriter, amongst many other things. And that just, I feel that every time. And my goodness, I don't know if Ann Winters can sing or that was auto-tune. If it was auto-tune, it was flawlessly executed. But boy, she sounded like an angel.
Yeah.
I loved the single tear rolling down Ed's face while Isaac was speaking. I thought that was perfect. The same, to me, it evoked for me the same emotion as when Kirk's voice cracks as he says human at Spock's service. I hated the photograph they used at the funeral. I thought it was a total disservice to Charlie, to the actor, it didn't do her justice. And, whether it was her choice or Key Art or, whoever made that call, wrong one. But how could you say anything bad other than that about this episode? I had been saying since episode 6 that, what was the title of that? Twice in a Lifetime. That episode was as good as original series City on the Edge of Forever.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. And I was just absolutely astonished that Seth and company outdid themselves that strongly. The best.
And it's a second parter too, right? Douchebag?
I'm sorry?
It's a second parter too, because it's like this. It's like the continuation of that first episode with Laura.
Definitely. There's a show that knows how to stay with its own canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
refreshing.
Honestly, everybody working Star Trek and everyone working Star Wars today should be taking notes. This episode was a masterclass in how to do sci-fi on television.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to your point, as another fellow musician, does it irk me when an actor tries to fake playing an instrument? It just, it looks terrible. I'm believing Scott Grimes played his own parts on the guitar.
Absolutely. Yeah. As a guitarist, I can tell you he was playing it. He wasn't playing live
right
on set, but he can play that song.
Yeah, it reminded me of Billy Mummy in the old Lost in Space series, sitting around at the campfire. And I, as a kid, was going, he's really playing the guitar. Yep. That impresses me.
A guitarist can tell if you're faking it or playing it.
All right, guys, I want to do a quick run through while we have time. 2 questions I'm giving everybody. Is there any chance that either Admiral Ted Danson, Admiral Perry, or Charlie, is there any chance either of them are still alive, and why? I want to start with Adega at the top. Adega, is there any chance that either of them are alive?
Yes, for both. It's sci-fi. There's always a way in sci-fi. They already have a device that travels through time. There's some rudimentary other technologies that they've hinted at. So just has to be written the right way. But yeah.
Okay, Netter, what do you think? Is there any chance? Do you think they could possibly be alive? Netter? You there?
I think she's muted.
Sorry, it's my bad. I muted Troy before. Sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So Charlie, no. But for the Admiral, there's a possibility, because they did something like that on Star Trek, or not Star Trek, Star Trek. Forgot what thing I was talking about, where a ship blew up and you thought somebody was dead, but they're actually pulled out by the enemy to try and like brainwash them, and then they're gonna, use them to. I forgot what it was. It was like they wanted to get secrets out, or they were gonna reprogram them to send them back to be like a double agent. I forget what the whole thing was, but it's been done before, so it's a possibility the Admiral is still alive.
Okay, interesting. Mr. Troy, what do you think? Is there any possibility either of them is still alive?
Possibility? Yes, I agree with both of the previous panelists, but I do not believe it will happen. I think that Seth is a better storyteller than that, and he, when he has someone die with that kind of gravitas in both cases, I think that means something, and I think it's gonna stick.
You're right, because that would kind of cheapen it otherwise.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Okay, Andrea, what about you? Any possibility?
I think the Admiral's definitely dead. Like I touched on with Charlie, that maybe her consciousness or something like that, or even with the quantum drive, because obviously it did throw Gordon back in time, so maybe she's gone somewhere else. But I do agree with everybody else that it would cheapen her sacrifice, and basically she's brought about peace. So if she's not dead, what does it do to that peace? But the other theory is obviously the last time I was on the show when we talked about season 3 with the they wanting to experience death. So maybe everything that's happened this season is actually still some sort of simulator because they want to experience love, death, all our whole gamma of emotions. So maybe it's all just one big, Bobby Ewing in the shower dream kind of moment. But I think, like you say, Seth is a much, much better writer than that. But yeah, so I think head says they're both dead. Heart says maybe Charlie can come back in some way.
Okay. John, what about you? Any possibility? What do you think?
Well, I think with the Admiral, at least, it's pretty sure that he's dead. I don't really see a reason to really bring him back, especially since Ted Danson's kind of getting on up in years. As for Charlie, I mean, it is theoretically possible. So there's so many different things you can do in science fiction. But I agree with what others said that it would undercut her sacrifice some if they did bring her back. So I guess kind of hope that it sticks.
Okay. Awesome. By the way, guys, I want to thank everybody for being patient. Everybody on the panel, everybody on the second panel who is waiting to. There's a few people waiting to come in. I want to thank everybody for being patient. There's so many of us today, but I really wanted to do a celebration and allow as many people the opportunity to speak tonight. Maria, go ahead.
All right.
Any of them alive?
I have to agree with the majority so far is that I think Ted's character is Ted, right? His character is dead. I don't think he'd want to face what would happen to him coming back. As far as Charlie goes too, the same. I think Seth has had to face some pretty serious things head on. And you're right, I think death is one of them and losing someone. If Charlie were to come back at any point, it would probably not be as a complete human, maybe in another realm of some sort because of her skills, but maybe it was printed something, I don't know. But I don't think she'd come back completely.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. Chuck, what about you?
Possibly, yes, but personally, I would really be disappointed if Seth did that. In my opinion, it's a very overused trope. Every time they do that, it diminishes the impact of the drama of a death of a character. So, gosh, I hope not.
Okay. Jeff, what about you?
I'm going to echo that. I hope Seth doesn't do that. Admiral Perry, I think, will not come back. I don't think there's any chance of that. However, Charlie, the race from the planet that was going between dimensions that progressed in technology so quickly, the alien that we saw in the 3rd episode this season said that they're watching them. Perhaps they saved Charlie. It's possible. I hope not. I hope they don't go that route, but I think that might be the only chance for Charlie.
Okay. What about douchebag Kylo? I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, man. Douchebag Kylo. Sorry.
Don't apologize. I chose the name.
I apologize for me just saying half of it. I apologize.
Douchebag.
That's fine.
Go ahead, DBK.
There are always possibilities, Spock said.
Yes.
That said, none of the ones we have here are good. I don't think Denal from that race of aliens on the advanced planet would thrust upon Charlie or anyone else the death they seem at least to be so curious in understanding themselves. For Perry, if I would be less disappointed if somehow he had escaped, whether it was his own choice or someone else's. I think if the Aronoff device is involved at all, Charlie would have used it to go back and allow Amanda to escape with Charlie's past self. And if the Aronoff device winds up being used to retcon her death, then I think that's it. But I really think that Seth is a bastard, and he set us up when he brought in Charlie to not be crazy about her at first, to slowly fall in love with her over the course of the season and then tear her away from us, breaking our hearts. And I love him for that.
Yeah, he it looks like that was the he
I've seen in an interview that she came in knowing that was the arc.
Yep.
That before she booked the job, she knew that Seth was saying, and I'm thinking this is what we're going to do with her by the end of the season.
She also said she likes having roles like that. Yes.
Yes. That she was excited about playing something like that. Yeah. So I think she's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will go so far as to say if she's not permanently gone, it absolutely destroys the importance of the episode.
I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. We got to do a shift in panelists. So we are gonna hang on to the ladies.
Yay.
And I'm gonna ask the gentlemen. I want to thank all. Listen, Troy, you want to share camera with Netter?
No. That's okay. I'm just going to ask Netter to put her mic on.
I can just move.
No. That's fine. Well, you want to take my seat? You can do that too if you
No, I
want.
meant I can try and sit by you so we're sharing your camera.
And that's not going to work. No, that's fine.
Well, you're working that out. Thanks for having me on, PJ. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Listen, I'm going to ask the gentleman. I want to thank. Who just popped out? Oh, douchebag, kind of.
Yep.
Okay. I wanted to thank all you guys individually. Adega, you're staying with me as my co-host. John, I wanted to thank you for joining us, John DeMarco.
Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. I'm glad we started streaming together, my friend.
Me too.
And I think we know a couple of people who are coming on now in your place. And Troy, I want to thank you. You're still going to kind of be around.
Oh yeah, no, I'll be in the chat. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Troy, for joining us, my friend. Jeff, thank you, dude, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me on the panel. You got a great show. You got a great channel.
Thank you, Jeff. And so do you. I want to thank everybody again for their patience tonight. Chuck, thank you so much for being here.
My sincere pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank
It's
you,
always
guys.
good to hang out with you, gents.
Yeah.
And I never want to do this, but we're going to do it today just because we have so many people today. So thank you, guys.
Salute.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you all.
Enjoy the episode, everyone.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Thank you, guys. And I'm gonna remove Chuck, John, and Jeff. Okay, guys.
Good.
Thank you, John.
Bye.
Wait a second. Okay, there you go. Okay. And you guys, thank you. I want to thank you to everybody who's on the panel. I hate doing this. I really hate doing this, but today was a special day, and we wanted to get as many people on. So I want to welcome Maria. Is it that hot?
Yes, I am baking.
Really?
Yes.
You're baking.
She's just excited for the episode. You
I
can see
am.
it.
I am excited for that and that ship that's being made for me. Did you see that thing? Oh my gosh.
That looks amazing. I want to welcome Corian Witch in Residence. Welcome, Corian. Good to see you.
Hi, it's great to be here with you guys.
Hey, Corian.
And
Hi.
Hey, Maria, I have a hat almost exactly like that, but mine's a little pointier.
A little pointier. If mine was pointier, I'd be cackling like a witch.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Yeah, we'd be happy to have Overlord on. He's always welcome. He's never accepted, but he's too busy though. He's too busy. And I want to welcome PD York. Hello, PD.
Evening.
PD York.
Good to see you, my friend.
You as well. Been a bit under the weather, so no camera for me tonight.
Okay, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. And really quick, I want to welcome Tokyo Trekker. Welcome, Tokyo Trekker. Good to have you here.
Hey, everybody. Jaloja.
Jaloja.
Hey.
And I want to also welcome Elihu Hu. Welcome, Elihu Hu. Good to see you, my friend.
What's up, guys? I'm hanging out with me, myself, and I. I get along with myself, but me, it can be a real asshole.
All right,
Welcome, guys.
Welcome, guys. Yeah, I want to
I hit
ask.
the wrong background. Sorry.
I want to ask the four gentlemen who just came in real quick. Let's with that last question. Elihu, is there any way that Charlie and or Admiral Perry can be alive?
Admiral Perry, no. Charlie, yes, there is a way that Charlie can come back. Because John said it himself, Seth loves fan interaction. He loves the fan input. The whole Gelogia episode was for fan dedication because Peter Macon was concerned about him pissing once a year. He wanted to have continuity, so we all know Seth loves and listens to the fans. And I forgot who started mentioning this on Twitter, but since Seth is trolling Star Trek really hard, he can have Charlie's character come back as one of the travelers. You know, the character that interacted with Wesley. Basically, it's like she got selfish. She got selfish, fell in love with a human named Amanda.
Is that noise at your place, Elihu?
Somebody shaving a sheep?
No, it's not me. A snort! We got a snort, but it wasn't me, and we got a bot in the chat, by the way.
Let's see.
Oh,
If, somebody can take care of the bot.
Working on it.
Thank you.
Sorry, I closed YouTube down. Okay.
I hit him.
Okay, I was saying that she can come back like the Watcher, and basically have a turn away from everything, fell in love with this person named Amanda, had to go through this life-changing emotional thing, realized that it's not about her, it's about everybody else in the galaxy. That's why she sacrificed herself, and she was able to teleport out of there safely. I mean, if he wants to troll Star Trek, that's a good way to bring Charlie back. Because he started her out with the mean character, somebody we love to hate, but we're not supposed to hate her because we found out that she's actually something emotional happened to her. That's why she's like this. That's why she's interacting with Isaac. But then she did a 180, became good and helped the Kalons, and killed her off. Like, wow, gee, thanks, Seth.
Okay, so
I agree with Kai Wiener's mother. She even tweeted on Twitter that she read the script and she's like, "Who does this?" I'm like, Seth.
Good writers.
Yeah.
Tokyo Trucker, what about you? Is there any chance that that Charlie or Admiral Perry can be alive?
Chance for Admiral Perry, no. Charlie, yes, but then it goes into the question: do I want her to come back? I actually loved her from jump. I thought she was completely justified in how she felt about the Kalon. And then as her story progressed, we got to understand her a little bit more. I'm probably just biased, but I liked her. I don't want her to come back unless it's like yesterday's Enterprise Tasha Yar type of thing. Not some MacGuffin gobbledygook like the Aronoff device could bring her back or whatever. I want her to stay dead because that impact. The previous panel said it before. It cheapens her sacrifice if they bring her back. I want her to stay dead. That being said, yes, there are always possibilities. So who knows? But if Seth does it right, then I'm sure we'll get a good story that makes sense out of it. But unless it's that, no, I don't want her to come back.
Oh, I believe John when he said, "I'm sure Seth has season 4 written in his head already."
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe him. He probably has the whole season written out in his head. He's got to put it on paper. Because he knew where the Kalons are going in season 1. Before the second episode was finished filming, we found out that every single episode was written and pre-approved. He had it written a while ago. So he knew exactly which direction the Kalon were going when people was like, "Really? They're the bad guys?" It's like, hey, it was always going in that direction.
Okay. PD York, what about you? Any chance that either of these characters could still be alive?
If we're talking about the current timeline versions, I mean, kind of what Tokyo Trekker says. I mean, I don't want them to stay dead, but I mean, for the sake of story, of course, they need to stay dead. If we're going to keep that impact, so I could see it either we get something, as mentioned, interdimensional, or even something. I mean, I could even see something going so far as what Star Trek did with the Kobali. And that maybe she'll come back, be resurrected, but be a part of a new race, and then that could be a point of conflict. Or if she does somehow come back to the show, she could play a totally different character, unrelated, but the whole fact that she looks like Charlie could be something that they could play with the crew, like, you know, and the crew starts treating her like she was, but she's a totally different person because it's not the same. And so there's any number of ways they could honestly go with that. But I don't think it would work well to bring her back at all. The Charlie that we know probably is likely dead and gone, sadly, but for good reason overall, and overall positive impact on the universe. So yeah, I agree. The Admiral, I could take or leave, honestly. He wouldn't do anything. He was very self-serving, self-righteous, and giving the Krill the weapon. And so if he comes back, it's definitely something they could use. But either way, I think that any number of reasons could bring her back. Any number of ways. Like I said, different timelines, different dimension, different thing with anything but the Charlie that we know and came to eventually love is fine with me. Because I think the actress is great. I'd like to see more from her on this show if there's a way to do that. If not, hey, thanks for what you gave us. It was awesome.
Yeah, it is too bad she's gone, right?
We know nothing about her past. Who says in the chat? Was she only Dr. Mega? Yeah, the only thing we know about Charlie is Amanda died and she hates the Kalons. That's the only thing we knew about her.
Dead moments.
The only way I could see bringing her back is if she had a twin sister.
I'm waiting to see if you guys figure this out because there's a very easy solution to this, but I'll wait and see if someone knows it.
You know what? Let's go through these guys, and you were gonna say something, PD?
Yeah, the twin sister thing is another way that they could go about with, like what I was saying, somebody totally different, because then it'd be like, oh no, we're not the same person as people assume with twins. So again, there's more narrative that you can do with that. So yeah, I agree, Netter. That's definitely a good point. Good idea.
Let's finish this question with Corion and Pollo Zapatos. Welcome, and go ahead, Corion and Dig. I want to hear your theory after that.
Yeah, so I feel like the only reason why you bring them back is if you're gonna really twist the knife for both of them. If you bring Ted Danson back, he has to be a mustache twirling villain that really wrecks everything. So that if they bring him back for that reason, I'm 100% behind it.
Mr. Mustachio.
As for our ensign here, look, what I would like to see, if they're going to do this, and they would have to do this very carefully, but if they were going to use her resurrection, if you will, as an arc, I would like to see her come back in like a Kalon body and be so upset about it that that's the whole arc, that she didn't want to be resurrected, she didn't want to come back, but this has been forced upon her. And now we have a whole theoretical discussion about immortality and should we forcibly make people accept immortality. So there is a way to do it. There's a good story arc you could do with it, especially by making everybody on the crew just gut-wrenched over the fact that she's back and she doesn't want to be. So there's a way to do it. It's a very, very, you got to thread that needle just perfect, but it could be done in the writing.
Okay, who's ever shearing that sheep? I know it's hot outside. The sheep is suffering, but do it somewhere in the barn, please.
The only problem with that theory is that it's kind of going into Doctor Who territory with the Cybermen. So I'm getting shades of Doctor Who with that.
Absolutely. But I mean, look, all sci-fi borrows from all other sci-fi, right?
Well,
it's only if you can put a unique spin on it would it be worthwhile?
And really, when it comes down to it, every story is basically a ripoff of the first story told by a campfire. Now, I do agree, let's not do the exact same thing over, but we're kind of in that point where we've said a lot of stories, and so it's like the thing we really only have is long arcs, retcons, and references is kind of where we're at with our storytelling until someone discovers the magical new 26th plot that is out there or something. I mean, we're kind of left with sort of retelling the same thing every 10 to 20 years, but that's not terrible because there is the nuance that comes with somebody else telling that same story in their way. And so that's what I think Seth has done with Star Trek. Because if you think about it, while a certain other show borrowed a lot of stuff directly from its source material, Seth kind of touched on some of the tropes that Star Trek did without actually doing them. And he still made them his own in a lot of ways. So, but it's still a valid concern, though. I mean, we definitely don't want the exact same story as the Cybermen. So, yeah, no carbon copy immortality, please.
Okay, guys, Maria's gonna leave us now. She might be back later at the very end.
Bye, Maria.
So
Maria,
sweet.
final,
Thank you.
final thoughts before you can step out, Maria?
Well, hang on. Before she steps out, I'm glad I heard a snort out of her, okay?
Maria, can you read Abu Nas's super chat for us?
Salute to the awesome Orville Nation. Wanted to show love to you and thank you all for the support you've shown. God bless you all with everything good. Thank you so much for that. You are awesome.
Thank you, Abu
Orville
Nas, by the
Nation.
way, for that super chat. And I know you can be here, but thank you for stopping by and saying hello, my friend. Maria, I'm sorry. Final thoughts from you.
Well, no, I guess just to touch on it, this is amazing, and I have never gone through so many emotions in a series or an episode in a long time. Yelling at the TV, crying, laughing. I love the emotional roller coaster. It's beautiful.
Can you tell us really quick about the dolly cake?
My dolly cakes, yes. So yeah, I'm going to have an Orville guest on Friday. I'm not telling you who yet, but it's going to be exciting. I was hoping people would turn in their cakes. I was wanting to show off the Dolly cakes that you can get. Make one of Dolly's cakes or to decorate a cake Orville style, however you want to decorate it, Orville style. And but if I don't have everybody that's ready for it, I might wait until the Friday after, but I'm still going to have my Orville guest on for Friday show.
I have a question about the cake, Maria.
Mm-hmm.
Can it be any flavor? Because I only make chocolates.
Absolutely. I don't care. It can be made out of sawdust as long as you make something and just send me picture or video, whatever you want. And I think it'll be fun. I kind of wanted to show it off to our Orville guests and say, look what they did for us. So.
Okay. Thank you, Maria, for joining us. And maybe she be back at the end. So thank you, Maria.
Bye, Maria.
Right, guys.
See you later.
Yeah.
Later.
And I know somebody was trying to get in, so you can come in now. Pollo Zapatos, go ahead. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, as far as Charlie's return versus Ted Danson's return, I don't necessarily see either of them returning because this setup for any type of device to bring them back, like the Aronov device was already destroyed. And I said it to my group chat when that episode aired with the whole Aronov device that like it was a very much Family Guy style episode in terms of one giant plot that could be exploded upon, but then it was killed by the end of the episode because the device was gone. And I think that's a similar thing to Charlie's character. She has been a sort of MacGuffin, but at the same time, like, not in a Mary Sue type of way, just in a type like, no, she's the only one for the job. And
Right.
That's how sometimes life works. And I
Wasn't she-
really get these vibes that like she was meant to be everything you thought you hated done right. Like she really came off as a potential Mary Sue at the very beginning, but then she died the noble warrior. Like to me, I think as far as like her professionalism in the uniform as a Marine, I would consider her actions exactly in line with the Marines. She had absolute pure hatred towards her enemy, but she absolutely cared about duty more than any of it. And so her sacrifice, while it felt like her saying like I'm going to go join Amanda, and it could have been taken the wrong way, that's kind of like how Marines take death, is they just think of the best final words they can say out loud, and hers were I'm coming home. That's such
I'm
a
coming,
beautiful
Amanda.
way. Yeah, I'm coming, Amanda. Exactly. I'm coming because I know you're in Valhalla because you made the ultimate sacrifice for me, and now I just did the same thing, but for an entire species. I know for sure my seat at Valhalla is secured, and that's really what she came off to me as, was the noble warrior. And I think it's so dirty how Seth did us in terms of her character arc, because to me, from the gate, she always resembled a professional, but she was a millennial professional. She acted like a child in a big person's job, but then every time her job was tested, she did it exactly by the letter. So she wasn't dumb. She was just angry. She was just emotional, but she was also exactly capable. And I loved that. And I hate that she died.
Yeah,
But I
wasn't
do hope she doesn't get brought back, because that
Yeah.
really does water
Yeah.
down.
Douchebag is correct. It was I'm here, Amanda.
Yeah. Also, wasn't she also required to work the Aronov device? Wasn't she a necessary component?
Yes,
in
her
order
and
for
No,
that to
Mortis.
Aronov
function?
device. No, Aronov device was Lamar and Isaac. She
Oh,
was
okay.
everything else, fourth dimensional.
And Lamar could have done it by himself too.
Yeah, yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
was the reason.
You're
that
right.
they- yeah.
Jeff, thank you so much for that super chat, my friend. You didn't have to do that. And those are kind words, and I don't deserve them, but thank you, my friend.
You absolutely do deserve them.
He was
Yes,
bribing
I wanna
you.
thank
He
you
was
for
bribing you to
having
come
your
up
gr-
here. Okay, it was a bribe.
Second, third, and
Yeah,
fourth.
he called me back before I ever super
I
chatted.
kicked.
So
I
Yeah,
kicked
it was
him
a
out.
bribe. Admit it.
I was not supposed to kick Jeff out because Jeff was supposed to come in from 11 to 12.
Two things.
Sorry about
Two
that.
things.
I
to
came in
that-
early. I
that
goofed
chat.
you up.
Two things to that exact chat explicitly. A, yes, PJ, you do deserve the love. You run a beautiful channel. But B, a Kelsey Grammer replacement for Ted Danson's like aggression, that seems exactly on par with where the story's going. Like,
Yes,
Kelsey
please.
Grammer
Yeah.
coming in as the new admiral, and he's even worse. Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh, just watch Pentagon Wars. He's perfect for the job.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly my thought.
And of
You know,
course, I
there's-
got the name because he played a captain named Morgan Bateson on Star Trek.
Star Trek. Yeah.
I
There
would say
is-
if they're going to bring him in, have him be like a very smooth talking admiral in front of like the Union Council, but in the back room be, Admiral take no guff, and it would be perfect.
Oh,
there is
every
one
single
thing that
time,
no one's
Ed.
touched on,
Go ahead, Nenner.
and there was one part, it was very brief, but Ed was talking about getting his daughter. Wouldn't
Yeah.
it be awesome if he can get her on the Orville?
That's my theory for the finale, actually, is
Yeah,
that
me
they're
too.
That would be
going
so
back
good.
to Krill.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
It's like, he has parental rights. This is his daughter.
Yeah.
And on
You
Krill,
know,
they don't know she exists, do they? So if he takes her,
Yeah.
what could they do? Because she technically
Exactly.
doesn't exist, right? So yeah.
And
Exactly.
if we add on to all of that, it's been perfectly set up. Like at one point, the Krill were joining the Union in terms of temporary alliance, but now a new war has started and the teams have changed. So like this is all within warfare in terms of the universe as it's been presented. That's so cool. I did not think about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, this was political musical chairs at its finest. And I do think that since we got a very space heavy, a very FX heavy episode, having the finale be like a covert ops mission to get a kid off of a planet sounds like a fantastic way to follow that up.
Yeah, a life for a life. It's like, we lost Charlie, but let's now gain Ed's daughter.
And not only Ed's daughter, but Topa's new friend.
Yes.
We
Yes,
have
a
a whole
playmate.
generation growing together simultaneously.
Well, I guess the
and
whole
that brings
thing.
a whole other side
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say, but I mean, she obviously Topa represents the Moclan, and then you've got Ed's daughter, who's the Krill, and if you're trying to forge peace, they're the kind of bridge, aren't they, to say actually we can all get along. So maybe that's where he's going with it, to try and say, that they're the tokens to peace, maybe.
And you also have the Finn kids. What's this from? What is this? Wait, this is the trailer.
Yeah, this is one of the things you don't watch.
trailer.
I have not seen the trailer.
Close your eyes, Elihu.
Yeah. Like I said, all I've seen was the images that Tom posted on Twitter. Yeah, I've actually come to the screen right now, so I don't see this. So, what I saw was the white images, and I'm like, first thing that came to my mind was Star Trek wedding. Okay, is Isaac and Claire gonna get married? That's the only thing I've seen from from Tom. I have not even seen the trailer. I don't watch trailers. I don't bother with it. I just read a quick synopsis of it, and the synopsis was the white uniforms. Like, okay. See the white uniforms.
Diego, can you check your DMs 1 sec?
Oh yeah, sure.
Hey, we got another bot.
Yeah, I'm getting.
I got it.
Yeah, it's already taken care of.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Sorry, I was covering the screen. I didn't see the bots.
Nope,
That's
I'm
fine,
on it.
PJ. Not a problem.
I want to ask. Adega's going to step out to let John come in, and but I want to. Damn it! What's wrong with this? Okay, Adega, I do want to ask you before you leave what I was going to ask everybody right now. I was going to ask them about your any theories about this trailer, and what do you think about the trailer? I know these trailers are sometimes very deceptive.
Right. Before that, I wanted to throw this out, and you guys could think of all
Please.
the
Oh,
implications
that's right.
of the
Yes,
things that
please.
you guys missed. I got my butt kicked last week by all the nerds when I called it a holodeck instead of a simulator.
Yes. Yes, it's
Think about-
Semantics and technicality.
environmental simulator. Okay.
And
Clean
now
on,
you
clean
know
in,
how
same
you can bring her back with emotional change and the whole thing. It's all right there. This trailer, though,
I love that shot.
yeah,
Wow.
that had to be Boris and Clyden.
Wow.
And
It
you
could
just
be
know
like
we're going to get some hot, sweaty Mocklin action here.
yeah, this could be like a Valerie. What do they say? Gosh, my brain just shut off. But they're renewing their vows basically, Boris and Clyden, and that everyone's invited. Don't know.
Yes,
it's
that makes sense.
But
Have a
knowing-
renewal.
Yep, but knowing the way that Seth works, and PJ and I have discussed this, we're being presented with something as a preview, and what's really going to happen is going to be completely different.
Agreed.
It may have
Yes.
hints at what we think is going to go on, and I guarantee there's going to be a tag ending. He's not going to leave it pinned. There's going to be an open end to it. But anyway, yeah, you can go ahead and boot me and bring somebody else in. That's fine.
All right, Adega.
Hi, Dega. Long time to talk, man.
Thank you.
I've
Adega.
already been in twice. I've already been in
Hey, take it
twice.
easy.
I can leave if you want to leave. Take it in.
Well, Adega's going to step out, and that's okay. Thanks, Adega. I appreciate it, my friend.
Always.
Take care. And thank you, Adega, for leaving a spot open. Okay.
Bye, Dega. Bye, Dega.
Guys, I want to start from the top to bottom. And guys, again, I want to thank everybody who has been on the panel before and now, and everybody in the chat. I want to thank you guys all for your patience. I hate doing things this way, but I thought that, you know what we need? We need StreamYards to put up 30 spots is what we need. All right.
You do know that LDG has a way to have like 20 to 30 people on the same stream.
Yeah. No, actually, I'm just kind of kidding because I think it's too much. But we do have a spot for anybody who has not been on yet. I know there's 2 people out there who have not been on yet. So if one of you guys wants to jump in, please do. And I'm playing this again without the sound. Well, you know what? I'm going to play it once with the sound. And I'm going to start at the top and ask Netter what she thinks about this trailer. And it's obviously, these are kind of deceptive, but here we go.
Well, we're waiting.
He's working on it. Give him time.
Good morning, Commander.
Come in.
Good morning, Commander.
Hi, Isaac.
I wish to become intimate with you. If you are unoccupied, may we go on a date, followed by sexual conjugation.
Pretty good. How are you?
Einstein said he could never understand it all. Planets spinning through space. Smile on your face. Welcome to the human race. Isn't it a lovely ride? I'll be sliding down. Try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride.
And I'm going to leave that one more time because it's short. And
Come in.
Good morning, Commander.
Hi, Isaac.
I wish to become intimate with you. If you are unoccupied, may we go on a date, followed by sexual conjugation.
Pretty good. How are you?
Einstein said he could never understand it all. Planets spinning through space. Smile on your face. Welcome to the human race. Isn't it a lovely ride? I'll be sliding down. Try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride.
all right, guys. Netter, what do you think? And by the way, I have a crazy theory about this, but I almost don't want to say it because it might be true. Go ahead, Netter.
Netter, you muted?
Good practice run.
You muted, Netter.
There we go. It's like, okay, let's try this again. Someone had mentioned that it looked like Bortis and Clyden were doing a vow renewal, which I think is fantastic because it's like, you know, every couple should renew their vows once in a while. Troy and I did that on our 25th anniversary. And today actually is our 30th wedding anniversary. So I'm all 4 weddings and vow renewals.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
Yes. Insert clapping noises here.
Blink twice if you need help.
After 30 years, I think we got this down. I do love the dress whites that Ed and Kelly were wearing. That I don't think we've seen those before, so I really like that addition. That also kind of lends to this is probably for a wedding because it's something ceremonial. The music and stuff kind of made it seem almost like one of those old-time sitcoms, you know, where you expect everyone to just kind of look at the camera and smell like, you know, like, and, you know, with, you know, Ed, and he looks, you know, just smells the camera, and then, you know, the next person, and Kelly, you know, but it looked really interesting. It did look like I'm drawing a blank on the doctor's name, but it looked like she and Isaac are Claire. Yeah, that they are deepening their relationship, which is interesting. I don't think they could get married, but I think their relationship is interesting. It's like they make really good companions. He's understanding the human side of things, and she gets a boyfriend basically, and he seems to make her happy. So I'm all for that.
All right, and what about Andrea? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like a complete misdirection, because the tone and the pace of the episode is obviously so different to last week's, which would normally probably be more of a season finale type episode. It almost was a little bit anticlimactic after last week. But also when they're in the whites, there's clearly a Mocklin standing next to Kelly. So what are they looking at? Because if they're renewing their vows, they're looking at somebody else, which then would go back to what we're all saying around like sort of Claire and Isaac getting married, and his sort of proposal, I guess, to Kelly might be because I can imagine like Gordon or somebody would sort of say, you might need to go sow your oats before you settle down, or on bachelor dues, so we call them stag dues, you might want to do this. So he, and Isaac take things quite literally. And why he's walking along with a banana as well. I'm very intrigued to why he's walking along with a banana.
I'm like, what the hell was that for?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, where's he going with this banana?
Is that showing he has no more fear?
But all kind of sort of goes to a sort of stag do kind of thing. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's really projecting a very idyllic kind of everybody's happy, reflecting on life maybe after losing Charlie. But I can't, as a season finale, you just go, it can't be that simple. It can't just be everybody's happy. Something's got to happen. So I think it's probably more humor than we've seen in a lot of the season. But I think something big's going to happen as well. It can't, it just doesn't feel like it's just a lull into the full sense of security that, oh, look, everybody's happy, everybody's getting along. And I think something big's going to explode out of that episode that obviously we've seen nothing in the trailer to suggest that.
Okay, I want to ask Corey on, but let me just say hello to Nate. Welcome, Nate. Nose.
What's up, dude?
I muted you, Nate. I muted you.
Okay.
Nate, for a second. All right.
Hello, my fellow Gilliac trash.
Hey, weirdo, what's up?
Again, I want to thank everybody for your patience, and I'm glad we're getting so many friendly faces on together, guys. Corian, what do you think, my friend?
Well, I think we're seeing what is either the instigator or the B plot of the episode. I don't think what we're seeing is the actual crux of whatever's going on. I think like a vow renewal or a wedding, and then every relationship on the Orville is affected by this, Kelly and Ed, kind of, getting a little closer together. Clyden and Bortus, if not renewing their vows, then reacquainting themselves in their marriage. Isaac and the doctor, getting closer together somehow. Sure. But I think that leads into, there's unresolved business here, right? We still have, Ed still got his daughter out there. I think I still stand by that is the best place to take the episode. Where after seeing all this, after all the love happening, Ed turns to Kelly and says something like, I got to go get my daughter. Like, I have to do this. And then we get the meat of the episode, the actual 60-minute, impossible mission to go get his daughter.
121 minutes to the episode length.
Yeah. Okay. So perfect. Right. So, we have, the opening half hour-ish timeline of everybody on the Orville, kind of celebrating a little bit of love and humor and whatnot. And Ed coming to this realization, I got to go get my kid. And then that whole hour of, that covert mission, I think is the way to do it while the rest of the B plot is kind of resolving. I think that would be a fantastic episode if that's where they go. I guess we're going to find out in an hour less?
No, in
8 minutes. In 8 minutes.
8 minutes it drops.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over 10 minutes. Or anybody who wants to wrap up with me. But if anybody needs to step out, you're free to do so.
And sorry, PJ, I got to remind everybody, it's on demand.
Yeah, but
True.
there's people who want to watch it. Like
I gotta watch it right now.
I want my Orville now.
I
needed to
demand
watch
to
it
watch it
yesterday.
now.
Y'all got any more of them Orville episodes? That's gonna be all of us next week. Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Go ahead, PD.
Oh, it's my turn already. Dang it, I didn't think of a response yet. Every single teaser this season has been purposefully misleading, and I've loved it for that because you see what they want, what Seth wants you to think you see, and then he just kind of pulls the rug out from under you. So I think Corione's right, at least as far as what we're seeing on screens kind of probably going to be the B plot, and then there's going to be something big going on. I think getting his daughter's probably really the only sensible thing, but with this show, we just never know. I mean, this season's done a great job of subverting expectations, and not in that horrible Last Jedi sort of way, in the way that respects us all as viewers, and I think that's hopefully why we'll get a. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Hopefully, we'll get a fourth season, and I think that Seth is being a little subliminal here with renewals going on, so to speak, as if he wants something to be renewed.
What could that be?
Yeah, I wonder.
Renew.
Maybe his boat insurance. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. But I think I pretty
You
much
can
said
save
about
$600 if you switch to.
Exactly.
Thank you, my friend. And Tokyo Trucker, go ahead.
Okay. I think Atomic Blonde might be a Beta Z because she basically took everything that I was thinking and said it.
Sorry.
It's
Great
absolutely
minds,
cool.
great minds, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think this opening scene that we're looking at right here, this is a practical joke or prank by Gordon. Probably right off the bat during the teaser of the episode, he's going to ask for some advice, and then Gordon and John both are probably going to be in on it. So this is going to be worked up for last. But yeah, I noticed the back of a Mocklin head next to Kelly during the whatever ceremony that is. So it would be weird if it is a renewal ceremony. It might be a wedding between Dr. Finn and Isaac, I think. But by and large, yeah, that's probably going to be the moment where Kelly or John Ed looks at Kelly and says, "I gotta go." But I think Kelly is going to be involved in that mission.
Let me just point out, guys, that there seems to be an outline of Kelly on the right, and somebody is with her.
It's Kelly and Claire. I zoomed in on it.
Is it?
Remember,
Yes.
everybody thought Maria
Yeah, it's
Rabbit
Kelly and Claire.
was Tom Cruise, so be careful.
There are theories that it's someone else.
No, there's just two people there. It's Kelly and Claire.
No, I mean that the character that you're calling Claire is someone else, actually.
That's not Mortis and Clyden, is it?
No,
I was
that's
thinking that was Mortis and Clyden and like a zoom out of their Gelogia ceremony.
No, those are two skinny legs, and those look like female legs. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest too. I mean, it wouldn't be beyond the crew here working on the Orville to CG in two characters that are not the characters that are actually going to show in that episode.
That's a good point.
True.
Absolutely.
This whole scene could not even be in the show. We don't know.
It could be. Elihu, go ahead. What are your thoughts on this trailer?
I think Seth knows how to sell something correctly, because that opening scene where Isaac cares about sexual relationship, you see her go, huh? That confused look. I think there might be a cut line there, because there's something called clever editing that is possible. There may be a cut line or two that we don't actually get to know exactly what the full conversation is, like a little teaser there. I believe there's a cut
That's
scene
likely.
there. Yeah, you can count me wrong in 3 minutes, but hey, that's what I think right there. And like I stated, the first thing I saw when I saw the white uniforms was a wedding, and immediately thought, well, since Isaac and Claire basically been reuniting, it's time for them to actually get married. I thought they were attending a wedding of Dr. Finn and Isaac's with the white uniforms. And of course, yeah, they're gonna hold hands. They're close. They're best friends. They're ex lovers. They're ex husband and wife. They're still best friends. They're good co-workers. Yeah, they're gonna hold hands. Of course, I don't see anything romantic about that. About them getting together.
I hold hands with all my female friends, Lahu.
It could also be that Ed and Kelly are standing up at the wedding, like best man, best woman, or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And that's why they're standing next to what appears to be Bortus or Clyden.
Let me just go ahead, Jeff.
I think it's Bortus because of the uniform. I don't think Clyden would wear that.
Don't freak me out, Chuck. Don't freak me out, Chuck. I forgot what you were talking about. I'm like, oh, Orville's launching. Okay. I'm like, there's no launch on August 3rd, man. Don't do that to me, Chuck. Like, what the fuck did I miss out on?
Yeah, I'm actually fairly convinced it's Bortus. If you look at the shoulders, it's he's wearing the Lieutenant Pips.
Yeah, that is Bortus. That's his head right there, right?
Yeah, so it's totally possible that Kelly and Ed are standing up for Bortus at their vow renewal. Like a best man, best woman type of thing.
I think this could be someone else's wedding completely, because if it was Isaac and Claire, Ed would be the one marrying them because he's the captain of the ship.
Not necessarily.
They could be at someone else's, like maybe Admiral Perry's. I mean Admiral not Perry because he's dead. One of the admirals' weddings or something like that.
Okay, my crackpot
like
theory.
Admiral Halsey.
My crackpot theory. Yaphet's wedding. Calling it now.
Nope.
He split.
Didn't know they got married.
I'm gonna.
It's called mitosis, okay? It's called mitosis.
Before we continue with Pollo Zapatos, I'm going to say something because it was mentioned in the chat. My theory is, and if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Jessica pregnant just 3 years ago? Is it possible that we might see Tala pregnant and John marrying Tala? That's a possibility.
That's 100% a possibility.
I was thinking,
especially if the actress was myself. But anyway, so I said my piece. Go ahead, Pollo Zapatos.
Okay.
All right, episode's on. Time's up. Let's go.
It's on demand.
Everybody
It's on demand, people. You're not Veruca Fox. You don't want it now, Daddy.
I think that everybody
just watch it twice.
is forgetting the fact that like military dress is mostly worn at weddings for like young military personnel, like the most amateur of the military. The more senior in military don't tend to want to wear their dress uniform to their wedding. I wholly believe that what we're actually seeing from the dress uniform scene is an award ceremony, and the hand holding is under the direction of Captain Ed Mercer and his second in command, Kelly. I can't remember her last name.
Grayson.
That I think is where the hand holding comes in. It's like, yeah, you and I are the reason that this ship has survived everything we've survived. I think in that scene with the sun there, that's Ed and Kelly talking about their future in the universe. Like, I do believe in the idea of a secret mission as being a real potential, but I think the secret mission is more going to come from the fact that Kelly's been on 2 secret missions in the last 2 episodes, and she started to really understand the viability of covert ops from an exploratory vessel that is the Orville. Like, the Orville can actually station SEAL Team 6 discreetly, whereas everybody else, whether they're the Orville's version of the Enterprise, like, everybody would assume SEAL Team 6 is hiding on that ship. But a ship under the command of Ed there's no way that he would be in charge of the ship that controls SEAL Team 6. So I get a vibe that like Kelly might start taking on a lot more covert command and become special operations commander for the Planetary Union.
Okay.
While Ed is either need to know or just completely unaware, because like Kelly is way more CIA, whereas Ed is Annapolis lieutenant turned admiral eventually.
Oh, that's an interesting idea, actually, John. That Kelly doesn't tell Ed that she's going to go
Isn't
get his
allowed
daughter.
to tell.
Yeah.
So basically, Kelly is Agent 99 and Ed is Maxwell Smart.
Not that bad.
That's the analogy.
Kelly's
That's the analogy I got
more
when
a
you're
man
describing
from
it, man.
I don't see that happening.
Let me just say for Jeff to go, and let me just say really quick, I think that background in the could very well be Zelaya. Just saying, Zelaya had a lot of green.
Yeah.
Then how are they standing?
Standing up, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be crushed by the gravity.
That could
Come on,
be
dude.
that could be the dress suit purpose.
Remember when
That might not be dress suits.
out?
Those might be gravity suits.
All right, I'm sorry, Jeff. Go ahead. My bad.
I just don't see the secret agent thing going on here. It just doesn't draw me in. I don't think they would go in that direction. The only thing I want to say about the trailer that hasn't been said already is the scene where you see the two figures and you got the sun in the background. A lot of people are, I shouldn't say a lot of people, some people are saying that it is Kelly and the other figure is Kelly, a time traveling Kelly.
Interesting.
I don't think so. The other image is shorter. The other person is shorter. That's why I think it looks physically, it's the height and physical build of Claire.
It looks like she
You
has
could be
longer
right.
hair. Jeff might be right about the longer hair.
But it has the mannerisms.
Guys, let me just say goodbye really quick to Andrea, and we're going to wrap up in 5 minutes anyway. But Andrea,
Okay.
go ahead. Just to say goodnight to you. Thank you for joining us.
No, thanks for having me back. I've had a lovely time again. It's such a great show, and the panel's been fantastic. But like I say, it's 5:05 in the morning here, and the sun's actually coming up. Yeah, the sun's literally coming up. So I am across the pond.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's getting early
fine.
there.
And I've got to be up in 3 hours to watch the Orville. So, but thank you, everybody. Thanks,
Thank you for
PJ.
being such a trooper. Thank you.
No
Having
worries.
fun.
No worries. Thank you. Take care.
Nice talking with
Nice
you.
to meet
Enjoy the
you.
episode.
Bye.
Have fun.
Bye-bye.
Keep it legal.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Keep it legal. I'm smoking my bowl
Cheers.
right
Andrea.
now.
Let's finish up real quick with Jeff and Nate, and we're going to wrap it up.
I pretty much said what I wanted to say about it.
Okay. Thank you, Maria, by the way, for letting me join. Yeah, you have more payments, young lady, but anyway, we'll see. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Maria, and thank you so much for to Adega and Maria and everybody else, Troy and everybody else who made room for others. Thank you. Go ahead, Nate.
Okay. I think the wedding scene, I think it's obviously a wedding, but I don't think anyone's getting married from the main cast. I think they're getting married at someone else's wedding, which starts maybe the ball rolling with Isaac and Claire wants to get married. And I think this episode will probably be a covert mission to save Ed's daughter, but I don't think it's going to be Kelly. Ed's going to go off reservation. He's just going to tell them that he's got some leave time coming, so he's going to go on leave, but he's going to go to Krill to save his daughter because the Union wouldn't sanction that kind of a mission.
Kelly would see into that. She knows that too well.
Well, the other thing is, Ed's daughter doesn't know Kelly, so would you go off with a stranger?
True.
Whereas if Ed goes, it's like, come on, I'm taking you home with me. Right, but
because he
Ed
can't
can
just leave her there
go.
because she's not there anymore. to take care of her, to provide for her. And if she's found out, there's people on Krill who will want to kill her
Right.
because they say
So
she's an abomination. So he got to get her out of there.
right. So he would have to go and go, I'm taking you with me. You know, by the way, I'm your dad. Hi. You know, and
Yeah,
take
well,
her to the Orville.
but see, he's not a stranger. She said, "Do you remember me? I'm Ed.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Funny looking." And
That's
yeah,
what I said. He's not a stranger, but Kelly is. She doesn't know Kelly, but she knows
Right.
Ed. So
Yes.
she could, Ed can go to her and say, you're coming with me. I'm doing this to protect you or something, and take her to the Orville. And the people
Yeah.
that are taking care of her right now will be like, yeah, she needs to be with you.
and I think because she's half human, her skin can withstand the light. But I think she's going to have to wear some type of protection over her eyes because her eyes wouldn't adjust to it.
Oh, like Geordi. Okay, that's another
Yeah.
troll. That's another troll. Star Trek.
All right, guys. I want to say thank you to everybody, everybody who's been a panelist and everybody in the chat. You guys have all been amazing. Thank you so much. Hello, Dan Crane. I want to say thank you to everybody. Thanks, Netter, for congratulations again on your anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corion, Peter York, Tokyo Trekker, Elihu, Boya Sabatos, Jeff, Nate. Thank you to all you guys.
Thanks for having me on at the last minute.
Sorry, Nate. That was my bad.
Thank you, PJ.
I'm just pulling your leg.
Thanks, Nate. I want to thank all the panelists who were on there before. Thank you, Dega, Maria, and everybody else. And to everybody in the chat who is ready. I hope you guys are sitting there getting the popcorn ready for your Orville experience. Thanks, John DeMarco, Medallion.
Got my wine. Got my weed. Got my wonderment.
I
Chuck
got my
Marble,
bourbon.
Dan Crane. Thank you guys to everybody. I don't want to hold you guys up. I want to go let you guys see. Douchebag Kylo, thank you, my friend. Atheist for the Cause, thank you for hanging out with us. CB Spock, Rapunzel, thank you for hanging. JRC99, good to see you. And Dr. Omega, everyone who has been in here, even the bots. Let's even thank the bots.
Thanks for coming, bots.
Any viewers of viewer, I guess.
Nice. Yeah.
Joe Lau, good to see you, Joe Lau. Everybody's glad to see Joe Lau again. So good to see you, Captain Phantom Nerd. I guess you couldn't make it, or maybe you tried. I don't know. I'm not sure. Good to see all of you guys. Thank you again. One last word from everybody, real quick. Last word, Netter.
Well, I always say when I'm ending a stream with somebody, it's like we can always talk amongst ourselves, and that's great. But it's more fun when y'all are joining us in the chat, putting in your own comments, questions, what have you, because you're not just friends, you're family too. So we love you guys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys.
I second that.
Nate, I had to mute you 1 sec. Go ahead, Corion. Last thoughts.
Yeah, thank you guys all in the chat for being part of this. Thank you, PJ, for putting this all together. It's awesome to be here with you guys, and I'm looking forward to the oh my gods tomorrow morning that we all are going to have.
Yeah, absolutely. PD York, thank you, Corion. PD York, last thoughts?
Subscribe to the Writer Brothers.
Absolutely. Subscribe to Writer. You want to put your channel in there, by the way, in the chat?
Maybe next time.
Okay. Tokyo Trekker, last thoughts?
Hey, PJ, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for hosting this awesome chat. Yeah, subscribe to me, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks for the next town hall. And PJ, open invite, always welcome, anytime.
Thank you, my friend. Awesome. And guys, go ahead and put in your channels if you want to. Elihu, final thoughts?
Awesome sauce. If you guys want to learn about real science, like the Orville does science, check out my channel. I'll talk about real science, from astronomy to complex astrophysics, black holes, planetary formation, CRBs, even towards of the solar system. You know, when you look up the night sky and you go, what the hell is that? Check out my channel, you might learn something.
Absolutely. And thank you, Atomic Blonde, for joining us. Go ahead, Boya Sabatos.
And I'm freezing. Wow.
Thanks for hosting this, PJ. I really appreciate you getting the chance to let all these other channels get their names out there. And thank you to the chat for being a part of this discussion. Shout out to Galinda. I forgot to say hi to you when you said hi to me in the chat, so I wanted to say it before we go.
Yes, thank
Love
you, Galinda. I saw you before. I didn't say your name. Thank you, Galinda. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, he's not. Continue
Okay.
anyway, dude.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you, PJ, for having this today and inviting me on the panel. I really appreciate that. Thank you, chat. You've been wonderful. Hashtag renew the Orville.
Yep. Posting it every day on Twitter.
And go ahead, Nate. Last thoughts?
There's also a GoFundMe. I've linked it on my Twitter. Sign a petition, the petition to renew the Orville.
I signed the petition already for Renew the Orville.
Yeah. Oh, and Netter, happy anniversary to you once more.
Thank you.
How many
30
years of your life? How many
30.
years of your life sentence you have done?
We've done 30 years together today.
Oh, you're a little bit longer than me and my wife. We'll be 22 years this coming this December.
Awesome.
And he still has not figured out how to take that chain off the foot yet.
Well, this is a chain I don't want to get out of.
Yeah, it's like after a while, it's like you just know. It's like you know the give and the take, and you know you're always there for each other. There's nothing that phases you. You can get through anything at that time. You know when you've been together that long. So you know, mazel tov.
Well, way I see it is that my wife and I being together saves 2 other people.
That's a good one. I'll have to use that.
Wow.
I want to thank everybody for being here again. And by the way, bear in mind, too, guys, that our channel is sometimes watched by Orville Production. Yeah, go ahead, put it in. Our channel is sometimes watched by Orville Production, and your feedback, I'm sure, means a lot to them when they're watching. So thanks to all of you guys.
Yes, they all get a closer clap.
All right, guys.
Seth, Brandon, everybody gets a closer clap.
And of course, we have to thank Seth and the entire Orville production cast and crew for giving us this wonderful experience, which we are about to watch in about 50 seconds.
Yes, thank you so much for episodes 1 through 9, and we'll see what the verdict is on 10 now, won't we?
Wow,
right,
you're grateful for season 3? Damn.
Take care. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night,
everyone.
Enjoy
the episode.
Enjoy
the
Hashtag renew the Orville.
Later, Orvillians.